This video is all about exactly why so many incredibly wealthy and successful multi-millionaire professional athletes lose all their money. I'm going to lay it out for you step by step, show you why it's happening and what you can do to make sure that you and your family and the people you care about are not able to just make more money, but keep it so you don't lose it. I'm going to lay it out for you step by step right here in this video. It's really fascinating. My name is Brent Michael Phillips. I am the founder and creator of Awakening Dynamics, a system of energy healing and higher consciousness. And I have devoted my life to understanding the human subconscious mind and the human energy field, and applying scientific, rational techniques and processes to work with it to improve our lives. So let me give you a hint. Here's your hint. The reason that so many wealthy professional athletes lose their money is the exact same reason that so many multi-million-dollar lottery winners lose their money. That's your hint. So let's talk about this for a second. It really makes no sense that pro athletes would lose their money. It really doesn't. If we look at the top-level sports leagues in the United States, like the NFL, Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, right? Did you know that the minimum salary, even for a rookie, is usually in excess of $500,000 a year? That's pretty good, right? Oh my gosh, if I had made over $500,000 a year in my 20s, I think I would have been set for life, right? That's what most of us think. But yet they tend to lose their money. What's going on? Great example, Jose Canseco. I'm going to pick on Jose Canseco because I actually saw him a few weeks ago. He was entertaining people hired to perform at halftime at a minor league soccer game with like 500 people in the stands. It was kind of sad, and it was exciting for me because I'm a baseball fan, right? It was great. But he was a superstar in the 80s and 90s. He was one of the best known players in the league, set records, made over $45 million in the 80s and 90s. That's a lot of money, folks. It really is. A lot of money. It'd be like $150 million today. But he lost it all. He went bankrupt. What happened? Another great example, Allen Iverson, superstar basketball player. Huge in the 90s. He made over $200 million playing basketball and through endorsements. Lost it all. Ended up filing for bankruptcy. What's going on? So here's a couple more hints. First, I'm going to tell you what the reason is not. Then I'm going to explain what the reason is. So here's what it's not. Reason number one, that is not the answer. It's not because they're stupid. Now, I know a lot of us have this idea that jocks are dumb. That's kind of an old thought. Let me tell you that as someone who loves sports, if you want to play professional sports in the modern world, right, 21st century, you got to be smart. So much data, so much analytics. You're constantly learning and strategizing. And if you're not smart, you won't hack it. The days of just being a big, strong, dumb brute and being successful in sports, those are in the past. Maybe the 60s, maybe the 70s, not the 21st century. So it's not because they're dumb. That's not it. It's also not because they don't have the resources. Do they have access to lawyers and accountants and financial planners and tax advisors? Of course. Of course they do. I mean, after all, there's all sorts of people that make lots of money, right? There's all sorts of people that make that kind of money every year. A surgeon, right? A really great lawyer, a businessman, an executive, an entrepreneur. They don't tend to lose their money like pro athletes. What's the difference, right? Is there some set of evil and corrupt tax advisors that only pro athletes use? Of course not. So it's not because they're stupid. It's not because they don't have access to tax planning and financial advice. No. Here's the answer. The reason that so many professional athletes lose their money, usually within 5 years of retirement, is simple. It is the subconscious mind. That's what it comes down to. And so I call it the subconscious financial thermostat. What does that mean? Well, if we think about it, we go, let's see and think about where does our money come from? How does it really work, right? So if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, oh, my money comes from my job, or my investments, or my government benefits, or my disability, or my pension, or my spouse, or my children, or something like that, right? You may think that's where my money comes from. Totally wrong. That is the means by which your money is delivered to you. It's not the source. It's a huge important distinction. Your job, your investments, your family, your pension, those are delivery vehicles. They are not the source. What is the source? Well, it's simple. The source is you. It is your subconscious mind. It is the software of your soul. And so what I want to lay out for you is an understanding of why the pro athletes lose their money. Just like lottery winners, it's the same answer, in case you didn't know, exactly the same. And show you what you can do about it so you can not only make more money, but also hang on to it. So let me explain a little more about the subconscious financial thermostat. And so here's how it works. All of us have a thermostat setting inside of us in the subconscious mind that tells the universe how much money we should make. It's crazy, but it's true. There are people, let's say Elon Musk. The guy has started, 3 or 4 companies, and they all go to grow to be multi-billion-dollar companies. Oh my gosh, how does that happen, right? Is he just super lucky? Is he that much smarter than everyone else? No. He's got a really high setting in his subconscious. He's programmed to make money, right? There's other people, maybe you or someone you know. They start a business, they work hard, they have talent, and it all falls apart. They just can't get ahead. What's the answer? It's simple. It's in the subconscious. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a best-selling book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He was aimed in the right direction, but didn't fully nail it, in my opinion. Why? It's simple. His rich dad had a high setting in his subconscious thermostat. His poor dad had a low setting. It's really that simple. And why do I call it a thermostat? Well, here's how I think about it. We all know about the thermostat on your wall, right? You're in your home and you set your thermostat, let's say for 72 degrees, right? What happens if the weather is really hot outside? Maybe it's 100 degrees in the summer. Well, as soon as the temperature goes up in your home, the thermostat notices it. It goes, hey, it's 77 degrees, right? I'm set to make it 72. So if it gets hotter than the setting on your thermostat, the air conditioning comes on. And you'll notice it doesn't instantly become 72 degrees, right? But the air conditioner starts blowing cold air, and over time, the temperature comes down to 72. Boom, you've reached the setting, so the system goes off. Then maybe you have a really cold day, and the temperature drops down to 58 degrees. Okay, the thermostat goes, hey, we're below our setting. Let's turn on the heat, right? And you'll notice if it gets really cold, it doesn't instantly become 72 degrees, but the heat comes on, and over time it will get to that. So that's how it works, right? That's pretty easy. You set the number on your thermostat, and over time, the heat in the air conditioning will push it back to that setting. Well, the amount of money you make works in exactly the same way. We have all these beliefs and ideas and prejudices and traumas hiding inside of us. And all those put together determine your behaviors. So the subconscious isn't just this invisible thing. You can see its effects in how people behave, how they value money, how they think about it. And so if you have a really high setting in your subconscious for money, you'll tend to find money. Money will find you. And it's really crazy. And in case you're wondering, the timing on the thermostat is about 5 years. What does that mean? Well, what it means is, let's say you grow up middle class and your thermostat is programmed to make $70,000 a year, just as an example, right? But you get a really great job and you're making twice that. You're making $140,000 a year. So you start saving money, making investments. You think, hey, I'm getting ahead. This is great, right? Well, guess what? You got ahead of your thermostat setting, right? It's just like you set your thermostat at home for 72 and now it's 80 degrees. You're above your setting, right? So guess what? The universe goes, oh, let's take back some of that money. So you have a car accident, you get sick, you get involved in an investment fraud, you are a victim of a crime. It could be anything, right? The universe has all these clever ways to take money back from us. So if you get ahead of your own subconscious setting, the universe will take it back. And that's exactly what happens to these athletes. Let's think about this for a second. The numbers I've heard in terms of bankruptcies for pro athletes go something like this, that the worst seems to be football players. I've heard that somewhere between 50 and 80% of NFL football players, the highest league in the world, right? Minimum rookie salary is like $550,000 a year or something crazy. over half of them, maybe as much as 80%, go bankrupt after retirement. Why is it? Again, it's not because they're stupid. That's not it. It's because they have a very low setting in the subconscious. Why is that? Well, most football players come either from a poor rural area or a poor inner city area. That's just the way it works. So they come into it with a very low setting in their subconscious. They probably lived in a family that struggled with money their entire lives. And so now they're in a new situation. They're surrounded by people making money. They're making money, but the thermostat is still too low. So the universe looks at it and goes, well, gee, this person has $2 million in the bank, but their thermostat setting is to be poor. So guess what? It takes it away. And again, the universe has many different ways it can do it. Bad investments, divorces, et cetera, right? On and on and on. So how do we avoid it? Well, it's simple. You need to learn how to get into the subconscious. You need to learn how to reprogram the software of your soul, because we are just like computers. The body is the hardware, the subconscious is the software. And if you're programmed to be poor, no amount of talent or skill or hard work or even luck can overcome that. You're fighting your own thermostat. It just doesn't work, right? Imagine being at home and the heater's on and you're trying to put ice cubes around your house to keep it cool. It won't work, right? The heater's way too powerful. Same thing in your life. If you don't know how to work the subconscious, you're at the effect of it. It's highly likely you will never make more money than your parents. That's what it is for most people. But don't despair. There is an upside here. What's the upside? Well, if you're making less money than your thermostat, the universe will step in and support you. That's how it works. I had a friend of mine. He was actually my boss back in the 90s when I was doing software contracts. And I worked for him. He had a full-time job at a company in Silicon Valley. He was making over $170,000 a year. That's really good, right? Especially back in the 90s. Long story short, it was for a Y2K company. Shortly after the year 2000, the company was sold and he was out of a job. Within a short time, his wife left him and his home was burglarized. And long story short, he went into a spiral. He ended up homeless. He ended up moving to Las Vegas and he lived on the street for a year and a half. And one day he woke up, stopped the pity party, cleaned himself up and went and got a job. And it took some time, but he was then making about $80,000 a year. So what's the moral of the story? Well, when he was in Silicon Valley in the 90s, he got above his own thermostat. He was making a lot of money, but he lost it all. Ended up bankrupt and homeless. But when he got over that and just decided to clean himself up and get back to work, he was very quickly making about 80 grand a year. What does that tell us? That was his thermostat setting. So how do we do this? You go, hey Brent, I hear you. I get the idea of the thermostat. Now what do we do? How do we fix this? Well, I'm going to tell you. First, I'll say, for those young professional athletes out there making tons of money, please pay attention, right? Maybe Mike Trout, if you're watching this video, pay attention. Superstar baseball players won like 3 or 4 MVPs, right? Signed a gigantic contract. You need to know this, Mike Trout. I don't want you to lose your money. Another great baseball star, Shohei Ohtani. You're going for a big contract, right? Please don't lose your money. Learn this stuff. How do we do it? It's simple. You need to learn the technology to open your subconscious, go in and see what's in there. We got to go and reprogram you a little bit, just like software. That's how we raise the setting. And once you've changed the setting in your subconscious thermostat, it's really crazy. You will start making more money on average for the whole rest of your life. Of course there'll be ups and downs, right? That's why I say the subconscious comes into play, the thermostat, over about 5 years. So the next 6 months, the next year, you might go way above or below your setting. But over the long run, you're gonna make about as much money as your subconscious is programmed for. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how famous you are. If you try to get ahead of your own subconscious, it will drag you back. And it will often be very painful and messy. I don't want that to happen to you. If you're interested in learning more about how to get into your subconscious, about how to understand what's in there, how to raise the setting on your own thermostat, it's really simple. Check out the link in the description below. Come to my Healathon live webinar, and I will show you exactly how we do this. I'm going to show you on the live webinar how to check yourself for subconscious blocks, and I will walk you through a process of how to clear them to raise that setting. And it's really that simple. So if you want to make a lot more money, if you want to be able to keep that money you're making and enjoy a higher standard of living for the whole rest of your life, you got to learn how to work the thermostat. Or go make a bunch of money and lose it and come crying to me after. They both work, right? I'd rather work with you though before you lose all that money. So I hope you found this useful. If you enjoy the video, click like, click subscribe, hit the bell. I know you don't want to miss out. We got lots more stuff coming very soon. I am Brent Michael Phillips, founder of Awakening Dynamics, signing off. And now you understand exactly why so many incredibly wealthy multi-millionaire professional athletes lose their money. Until next time, please take care and namaste.